If you have a pension and you're building up to that once-in-a-lifetime moment, that's right, the moment you need to make your choice on how to take your pension payments for the rest of your life, then this is your one shot to get it right. And that's a lot of pressure. Believe me, I see people's anxiety go through the roof trying to decide between this payout or that payout. What if I told you there was an easier way to block out some of the noise for you, to get you focused on what really matters to you and feel far more confident than you imagined in making that decision? Sound refreshing? Let's go. All right, I'm Bob Brown, a partner and advisor here at Stonehouse Investment Management, and we help a lot of people like you transition from their careers into retirement. We have an amazing team here that I have the privilege of working alongside every day. We focus much of that effort around retirement income planning. And what does that mean? Well, it's probably exactly what you're looking for. It means our job is to help you coordinate all the great things that you've already assembled into a well-oiled machine that not only generates you the monthly income that you need, but also the right balance of risk versus reward. And my favorite word in planning, which is flexibility, for those curveballs that life will most likely throw at you. Now, what we're here to talk about is your pension. First, a really quick simplistic summary of how a lot of different pensions basically are built, okay? While you're working, you're contributing your own money typically into this pension plan, seen in the green here. And in many cases, your employer is also contributing to this. As you can see, over the years, both your money and your employer's money has hopefully experienced some growth, some interest over the years. Collectively, all of this money makes up your pension. Now, not all plans have this next feature, but some do. Some pension plans allow you the option to take your portion out of that whole amount and roll it out of the plan, usually into an IRA of your own choosing. But the question is, how does that action affect your overall pension? Well, as you can imagine and you see on the screen, it reduces the amount remaining in the plan, and therefore, you guessed it, it ultimately reduces the size of the monthly paycheck that you will receive from that plan. So the next question you should be asking me is, why? Bob, why would I want to roll that money out? Well, thank you for asking that awesome question. Here's some reasons why you might want to do that. Going back to my friend and yours, flexibility. Maybe you don't need all the pension income right out of the gates, right? Maybe you have other sources. Maybe you can live off of less than that full pension check would have been, but you would love the ability to tap into that excess money for random things like travel, projects, unexpected costs, or even maybe gifting to a family member. Speaking of gifting, a big reason that you may wish to do this is the limited options within your pension payments. In many cases, your pension will either end with you or your spouse. Very rarely do those payments get extended to your children or your heirs. So rolling your money out to an IRA gives you the ability to extend whatever you don't use to your family, to your kids. Now, that's a great thing, by the way, but full disclosure here, not all pension plans are created equally, and absolutely not all families are either. So I'll talk about that a little bit later. But on that note, that not all pension plans are created equally, I want to emphasize paying attention to the details of your plan, specifically your benefit formula. This is typically set in stone and defines the math behind your employer's plan. Of the factors that go into this math, some may be out of your control, but others you may still have some control over. One would be years of service. You can't control the day you started, but you do have control choosing your last day, which is the other one, your age at retirement. This you can control to the extent that you are the one who gets to decide when you retire. So if you need that extra year or two, then you get to stay put. Salary history is also important, or what they call final average salary. So one might think this one's out of your control, but here's an example of what school teachers do. A lot of pensions use the last 3, 5, 10 years of your average salary. In an effort to bump those values higher, you'll see some teachers do things like earn their master's or doctorate, teach in high demand areas, take on extra duties like coaching sports, extracurricular activities, becoming a department head, etc. By doing all your homework, no pun intended for the teachers, well in advance of your retirement, that you too can really squeeze more juice out of this future income stream that you know as your pension. So, okay, up through now, we've talked about how a pension is built, how to possibly get more into it before retirement to make it as robust as possible. Now let's talk about that once-in-a-lifetime decision you must make. Which payment option is best for you? So where do you start? Well, I'll tell you how we do it for our clients. First thing we do is remove as much noise as possible. Remember I said that neither pensions nor families are created equally? Well, this is the part where you get to be selfish. That's right. You get focused on what matters to you and your family, and the rest is noise. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you're married, both in good health and both about to retire, but your spouse has no retirement at all. Well, in that case, for you to choose a payout option that ends when you die, well, that would leave him or her in serious peril, right? So let's remove that option for you. Again, less noise. On the flip side, if you're single and if your spouse, or I should say, if your spouse is in very poor health, then there's little reason to ensure that that pension outlasts you, so you can remove some of those options, right? Again, less noise. If that last comment bothered you, by the way, when I said if your spouse is in poor health, I don't blame you for feeling that way, but I want you to understand that pensions are based purely on math, and that math really boils down to two things. One is how much money is in your pension and how much is it worth today? And two is how long will they need to pay you? And that's why whenever you choose an option like that extends your monthly checks to someone else, it reduces your monthly amount by a certain amount. And how much of that reduction depends on you and your spouse's age and sex. Yeah, that's it. It's that simple. The actuaries who crunch those numbers are nerds like us. Trust me, I understand them. They love calculating your life expectancy, your account value, your rate of return to ultimately tell you, here is what we will pay you and for how long. Now, there's a lot there to unpack, and it's not worth diving into it in a video like this because the only details that matter are your details, not hypothetical ones. My point in all of this is that there are no feelings with regards to your pension, only math. You need to block out as much of the noise as you can by removing the less than ideal options and get it down to just one or two. So now I want to talk about how we do that for our clients to ultimately get them the confidence that they need to feel really good about their final decision. Depending on the resources that you have, you may be able to do something similar on your own. If not, you can always contact us. This is what we do. We live for this stuff. I work with an awesome team here, and it never hurts to have a really quick chat and to see if we can help. So, all right, going back, there's two main elements that we do for our clients. Number one, the financial plan. The first step is to bring all the sources of income you have, including Social Security, other assets, retirement plans, savings, part-time work, if that's something that it's in your future, and then enter your ideal retirement dates and your expected expenses. And that gives us your baseline. Now, from there, we run scenarios for you so you can visualize the what ifs and understand the effects of your decision as that plays out on the screen. This visualization and your custom input, it usually helps us to get down to your very best pension option. But we don't always end it there. For some, we do a second element, which is the tax planning. Now that we have a good idea of all your income sources, including your pension, it's time to plan out how we can minimize your taxes throughout your retirement. Things like when you start taking Social Security, your IRA distributions randomly, the required minimum distributions when you get into your 70s, buying and selling other assets in your life, and a whole lot more. Both the financial and the tax planning are super powerful when those are combined. And I can say that I personally love to see that stress just get lifted off our clients' shoulders after going through this process. And hey, sometimes the math shows them that they need to work a little bit more. Either way, after going through this process, they see how easy it is and they know why they are making the decisions they have to make. And that's my very last piece of advice. I've heard people say, yeah, I just talked to somebody, other people I worked with, and they decided to go with option 2. So I'll probably do the same thing. Wait a minute. Do they have the same family situation that you have? The same exact financial makeup that you do? Don't follow the crowd on this issue. It needs to be your path, your solutions, and your decisions. I hope this was another helpful video for you. If you think so, please give us a like, and even better, pass it on to someone else who you think will benefit from watching it. Thank you, and until next time.